action or something. Yeah.
I'm Tori Milner, and I'm from the Iyengar Yoga Association of Greater New York here with Uday.
And I'm Susan Elena Esquivel from the Iyengar Yoga Center of Western Massachusetts.
I'm James Murphy from New York as well.
And we're so pleased to be here with Uday. And
Thank you. I thought I was going to introduce.
Introduce yourself.
Then I'm happy to be with all these wonderful practitioners over here.
Yes, yeah. So Uday, you agreed to come have a nice chat with us today. You're coming to the United States after your tour in South America, and we're so pleased that you're going to make a little pit stop with us. And so we'd love to let people know a little bit more about you and how you came to yoga. So can you say a little bit about how you came to yoga and what it was like learning at RIMYI as a beginner?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say that I'm pleased to be amongst you over here, and I'm definitely looking forward to being there in person later on after the South America tour. Looking forward to being in Boston and New York. Thank you for inviting. To answer your question, how did I come to yoga? It was more of an it was unintentional in a way, where I was practicing martial arts, as I mentioned before. I was a martial arts practitioner, student, and my teacher, Ali Dashti, was a student and teacher at the institute. So I was keen to practice Taekwondo, and then he saw my interest, and he was introducing us along with the Taekwondo punches and kicks, all those exercises we would do along with that. He would get us to practice asanas as well. And then he said, if you want to learn more, you need to go to this place. And that's how I got to know about the institute, actually. Initially, it was through him that I heard the name of Iyengar Yoga, Guruji, and then the place called as RIMYI exists in Pune. So, and many of my friends and the other people around had never heard, and we were living near the institute. actually. It's barely more than a kilometer away. So I was always surprised to see that people were unaware. I mean, some people were unaware about this name and the place. And once I started going there, I realized what a fool I've been, as in not knowing about this place.
Yeah. And how did you make the transition from being a student there to the path of becoming a teacher?
Oh, okay. So, well, the transition happened, and it was not like I wanted to make it and I made it happen. I was just excited, delighted to be at that place, fascinated basically to see how the classes happen and how the teaching happened over there. And just wanted to learn more and be around, and I had wonderful friends over there who still are. So it was just practicing, going and learning from there. That was the intention. And eventually we were asked to be present in the children class. So assisting, being on the platform, demonstrating. Then gradually it turned into like being on the platform for Gitaji's classes. And so we were just like at that point of time, it was just a privilege, and being in front, showing if there was a little bit of excitement and pride about it. Yes, I've been selected to go on the platform, but soon realized that it's not a yes, it's a privilege, but it's not something to be proud about, because whatever needs to be shown and corrected is all seen there. And that's where all the training actually happened. And then one fine day, just Guruji said that, okay, go and talk to Pandu and tell him that I've asked you to teach a class, which was a shock. I was like, what? Teach at the institute? I used to teach taekwondo classes, and that was on. So I was not new to teaching and conducting a class. But teaching at institute was a big thing. I was like, "Are you sure?" Of course, I didn't say it aloud, but in my mind, I did. I did react with a shock, and just went and told Pandu sir, saying, "Guruji has given me this message, and I'm just passing it to you." In the back of my mind, hoping that you don't act on it, and it did. It did happen. So, like maybe when I passed on the message, perhaps he might have already scheduled and got the timetable ready for the next academic year. So nothing happened, and I was happy about it. A year, like a few months later, uh, everything was fine, went on, and once again Guruji called and said, "Hey, you didn't listen to me." And I was like, "What is he talking about?" I had already forgotten. I didn't know about what he was referring to. I said, "What happened, Guruji? What happened?" So I told you to go and talk to Pandu and tell him that you're teaching one class. And I was like, "Oh, you were serious and you still remember that as well." I was quite surprised. Surprised as in amazed with that fact. And then I thought, okay, so this is serious. There's no escaping this. It was not just a whim or he had said something like that. So I went and then spoke to Pandu sir. And that's how I started then teaching a beginner's class there.
Wonderful.
And that-
You'd once told me that also one thing Guruji asked you to do was to work with Raya and Abhijatan for you to practice together. And can you speak a little bit about what that was like for the three of you to work together and learn from each other?
So the reference came up as I think during the practice session. That's when he said that different body types you have to observe and learn. You have to see what comes easy to someone and just check how. So the topic came up where I think we were practicing balancing and arm balancing, and he just pointed out saying that look at him, he's muscular and he's just doing everything muscularly. So, so you can, and that's when he said like you can study with each other, see how he's able to do something, but then he's lacking the way this has to be done. Look at my photo and look at what he's doing, and then look obviously the difference. So, so, so he said like just staying up on the arms and then like what needs to happen is something else. So just using the strength or brute force is not, that's not the way you should go about. So that's where the reference came, and he said that's when he said you have to study, you have to look at each other with your practice and observe how certain things are easier for someone, and if you're struggling with it, how the other person is able to do it. What is it? Can you read it? Can you see that? So basically, it was I think it was just to encourage us to observe and study, because in one of his interviews, I think he had mentioned right that when he started in his early days, he used to obviously practice, and when he was teaching, if he saw somebody do better, somebody practice or do an asana better than him, he would go and study, and why is that person doing it better than him, what is it that he is doing better, and then he would work on it.
Yeah.
So I think on those same lines he was just asking us to study with each other like that.